I think it's you. I think you're the problem. Hi, it's you. Hello and welcome to this week's reading vlog. I read a total of this many books this week. So this week's been a bit slow going. I did finish off my tarot deck. So until I did that, I didn't really read. All of my spare time was just channeled into that, but that is done now. So I'm getting back into the swing of things. And I started by picking up Witchlings, but it turns out I've already read it. I sat there and I thought, this sounds incredibly familiar. Let me check my Goodreads. And yeah, I read it last year. I did love it. I called it a fluffier female-led version of Harry Potter. It's a middle grade book about witches, but yeah, already read that, so whoops. The next book I read was Out There by Kate Folk, which is a bunch of short stories. Oh, so creepy. This book is really weird. It is hella creepy. There's a lot of body horror. There's things that I have read about that I wish I could expunge from my memory. So this really wasn't for me. It is female centric. All of the main characters mostly are female, but it is just so bizarre and uncomfortable. I've given it 3 stars because it is well written, but it's not my jam. Yeah, I don't know what much to say. One of the stories that is repeated is one that centers around blots. And blots are these manufactured male androids that are designed by Russia to basically scam women out of their money. So they go and they steal their identity. So these blots are incredibly handsome. They're very empathetic and sensitive, and they get women to fall for them. And then when they sleep over at their houses, they steal all their data and their identity, and they like publish all of their intimate details online. So that was probably one of the tamer stories in this. Then the others, like I said, anything that includes body horror, I don't like it. It makes me feel icky in my body, so this wasn't for me. Then I read Chasing the Sun, The New Science of Sunlight and How It Shapes Our Bodies and Mind by Geddes. Okay, so I'm not rating it because it obviously was well researched and factual, but it was so incredibly dry and boring. It was like reading a research paper. And I'm finding now at this point in my life, I've read so many nonfiction books, I need a bit of storytelling. I need some sort of other literary angle, not just straight up facts, bruh. So this was that. There was nothing really new I learned. I learned a lot of historical facts. So how historical people used sunlight to treat certain maladies. So that was interesting, but not really relevant for today. And there was a lot of obviously mythological references to like the sun god Ra and Helios and all that sort of thing. So like I said, it was okay, but it was just really basic in terms of it's just not adorned with anything that's writing that's interesting. I wasn't gripped, I wasn't invested. It was just, here's some facts about the sun and stuff. So yeah, I've decided not to rate it, but it was okay. Now, the next book I read was Fourth Wing. So this is doing the rounds on booktube, and it became available as an audiobook at my library. So I thought, let me see what this is supposed to be new adult. It is very much YA. It's basically Divergent, but with magical dragons. This was definitely too young to me. I listened to 50% of this, and this is a 500-page book. Why so long? Why so long? Doesn't need to be this long. I'm glad I stopped it though. Like at 50% in, I decided to read some reviews, and the way I was feeling was very much represented by other reviewers who'd given it 1 star. So in this book, you have the main character, Violet, and she does seem to have hypermobility. And as someone who has hypermobility, and my children do too, I appreciated that. She was meant to be a scribe. That was her thing. She was very scholarly, but her mother is a general who's an absolute biatch, and tells her that she must be a dragon rider, even though she already has 2 children who are dragon riders, one of whom has died as a consequence of being a dragon rider. So that whole bit couldn't understand it. Wasn't really explained. Why would she do that? She's already got 2 dragon rider children. One's dead now. Why would she make her bookworm child be one who has physical mobility issues? This whole book suffered with flawed logic. There were so many things that you just didn't understand. For instance, the main character is given an out to go back and become a scribe rather than participate in this brutal sort of hazing ritual to become a dragon rider, and yet she's like, nah, I want to be a rider now. What? Why? It doesn't make any sense. In this dragon rider thing, I think it's like 3/4 of the applicants are murdered. And it just seems unrealistic. It seems exaggerated. It seems over the top. Nothing really makes logical sense in this book. It's just put there for entertainment factor. Do you know what I mean? That's how this whole book felt. Like she was just trying to make it so it's high stakes when it's just like, why would it be that way? This doesn't make sense. This whole process, what sort of backwards place is this? And that's the thing too. So the characters very much speak as though they are modern day teenagers, and yet it's set in a medieval setting. So it was very jarring to have that modern day speak in a medieval setting. The writing wasn't that great. This was touted as an enemies to lovers. The guy is not her enemy. She keeps reiterating over and over how this guy is her enemy and he wants to kill her, wants her dead, when the dude has done nothing but continually save her life. And I hate that. I hate it when the main protagonist is just talking about how this person is her enemy and is out to murder her, and the person in question is doing nothing of the sort, and it's just all in her delusional head. I'm like, look at the actual actions of this person. They don't care. Like, they're not out to get you. Be quiet with all this nonsense. So she was either talking about how much he was her enemy, or she was straight up objectifying him, because this woman was hella horny and just constantly talking about how hot various parts of his body were, and all of these sorts of things were running through her head. So she was also meant to be this incredibly intelligent person. Oh, she's so smart. That's what makes up for her physical challenges. But she was a dumb bitch making a lot of dumb choices. So I didn't really get on board with that. It was a lot of towel, and like pretty much no show. The dragons were definitely the best part of this book. The point that I noped out on when I really was like, yeah, I'm not in for this, was when she got her dragon, and just there's something that she's a special snowflake, and you know, some out of the ordinary things happened in that respect. But she got her dragon, and she was so disrespectful to her dragon. The way she was speaking to them, this dragon saved her life multiple times, and that's when I was like, no, you are an arrogant little twat. That she was just so unlikable. She keeps talking about how everyone wants to kill her because of who her mother is, a general who killed all of these other children's parents. But it's like, I think they just want to kill you because you're so insufferable. I think it's you. I think you're the problem. Hi, it's you. I just don't get the hype, guys. This isn't amazing. Like I said, it's very basic YA, fantasy book. It's just got, because it has modern speak in it. I don't know why people love this. I'm glad there was a bit of disability rep, but yeah, it wasn't for me. And I'm glad I DNF'd it, but I guess it's nice to be part of the dialogue. Sometimes that's what happens, I think, with booktube. Everyone will be reading something and you kind of get that FOMO. Like, I don't want to be missing out on the discussion. I'd like to know what everyone is discussing, and so I can have my personal opinion on it. And yeah, so I'm glad I read it for that, in that respect. But otherwise, I don't understand this. There's so many better YA and new adult fantasy books out there. So definitely not new adult, YA. So besides that, I am still reading The Burning Woman. So I'm going to continue that this week, and I think I'm going to pick up Happy Place because that's just become available and I need to read it. I've heard a lot of negative reviews on it though. I have read 2 of Emily Henry's books, Book Lovers and Beach Place. I can't remember what that one was called. I liked both of those for contemporary romance, which isn't really my thing. I actually enjoyed both of those books. So it'll be interesting to see what this one's like, considering it's gotten quite a mixed bag of reviews. But I think those are definitely 2 books that I will be picking up this week. I've gone through all my library books now, except for that middle grade Tale of Magic book, which I'll read at some point. Kind of need to have something that's going to be good, because this week's been a bit So hopefully something pulls through. But yeah, today I am thinking of taking myself out to a cafe. I keep saying that I'm going to, date myself, and I haven't. I've been ghosting myself in that respect.
Honey, you've got a big storm
We'll see
coming.
if I can drag my butt to a cafe. I'm going to be making some pumpkin cheesecake ice cream today. So I'll see how that goes. If it's good, you'll see it on my monthly review on my other channel, Spirited Stardust. But otherwise, I'll touch base with you later. Oh, and today's outfit, I'll insert a video of me doing a full length here, is a dress by Reformation. and it was thrifted. So anyway, I'll catch you later. Okay, so as you might have seen from my video, I didn't get to go out today. I basically dropped my kids off at school, went to the grocery store, and when I got back in my car to drive my groceries home, it went into limp mode. So I managed to make it home, thank goodness. I was only around the corner, but my dad said, don't drive the car while it's in limp mode. We need to figure out what's actually wrong with it. So I ain't going anywhere today. And I'm probably might have to walk to my kids' school to pick them up, but my mum might be able to give me a lift there with her ute. Yeah, to take us all home, she would have to do multiple trips. Sorry, it's the kitties just bumping my tripod. Babe, we're just gonna have to go with that because I think it's going to rain today, so we can't walk back in the rain. All of us, all three of us. So yeah, so thankfully I will hopefully, get some help with my mum in picking up my kids, but might need to call the ex-husband for tomorrow if I can't get my car diagnosed and fixed today. It's probably not gonna it's not gonna happen. I have to get it diagnosed first. My dad's got to come with some sort of device and figure out what's wrong with it, and then I'll have to get it towed somewhere to get fixed. So yeah, I try not to be upset about it. I thought maybe this has protected me in some way by not going out. It stopped me from going out. So I always try to think there's probably a positive reason something has happened, so that way my energy stays positive. That's just what works better for me, otherwise I'll fall into a bog. So I am home today and I decided may as well read. Just have a chill day reading some books. So the book that I finished was The Burning Woman. So this, I guess, how do I describe this book? It's nonfiction. It's a very feminist book looking at the patriarchy and how they have oppressed and abused women. So it is very dark. Check the trigger warnings before reading it. They look at the historical vilifying of women and persecution of women, with particular emphasis on things like the witch trials. And there's also a lot of religious aspects in this. And then today, how women are still being abused and oppressed and tortured. It does talk a lot about other countries' practices involving the subjugation of women, things like honor killings and other heavy matters. So like I said, this book does not shy away from the atrocities committed against women. They do mention that even Western women still don't have equality with men. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think there will ever be a day where I would feel 100% safe walking home alone in the dark. I just honestly don't see that happening. So I'm not sure how much equality women will have, especially in regards to feeling safe around men. But this book is mostly quotes. There's a lot of quotes and a lot of excerpts taken from other journals, articles, and books. So it is majority reiterating what has been said by various people. There is also a lot of workbook type things. So at the end of every chapter, there are journal questions, there are activities, there are prompts and ideas of things to do that are associated with the subject matter that was discussed in that chapter. So I think with this book, it would pay to have a physical copy so that you could actually participate in that portion of the book, because mine's just a library e-reader. I'm obviously not getting the full experience of this novel. So I was actually really impressed with the end of each chapters and the ideas and activities and prompts and everything that was included in those, and sort of the integration of what you've just read and practicing that, implementing it into your life. I will read to you one of the poems. So there are a lot of poems in this. This is one of them. It is time. Will you join us? We often fear that the revolution needed is too big for what we can give. Too much change is required inside, outside, and we are too small. But all that is required is that you step into the truth of your life. Speak it, write it, paint it, dance it. that you shine your light on your truth for the world to see. As hundreds, then thousands, then millions do this, each sparking the courage of yet more, suddenly we have a world alight with truth. We are shifting ourselves, we are shifting the world, dancing her into a new orbit. We are filling in the space where our voices were silenced, filling in the blanks where our images have been lacking. We are weaving her story into reality, unweaving the limiting his stories, creating our story, reaching beyond religion and patriarchy and capitalism and so-called democracy into new ways of being and seeing. We are the bridge between worlds, we're the ones we have been waiting for. Arise, burning woman, arise, burning women. So like I said, this is very heavy to like on the patriarchy and how their ideal woman is one who is quiet and domesticated and available sexually to them only, and how to sort of break free of the chains of oppression that have surrounded us. Most of this stuff though I do feel is more applicable to Western women. I feel that women who are in countries like India and the Middle East, which have such oppressive regimes and are so punitive towards women, I think it is much harder for those women to have a voice and to speak out because of the fear of literally being maimed and murdered. It's a bit different for me to learn to speak my truth and to be bold and to make noise and to allow myself to be angry when it's justified than it is for those women. So yeah, I feel like this book is more skewed towards women in Western cultures, where even though we do not have full equality with men, we have a bit more freedoms and less fear of torture and death in expressing those freedoms that we want to reclaim. So yeah, this was a very interesting read. It was, like I said, very heavy because it is so depressing to look at the reality of how women are still being treated today. It is, for many women, they are still living in a nightmare. They are still living in the darkness. They are still living possibly without hope of a better future for themselves and their daughters. So yeah, it's full on. You know, but like I said, sometimes you do have to shine a light on the truth and what is happening. You can't always stick your head in the sand. So I did enjoy reading it. I can't rate it. It's, you know, it's Jesus. So like I said, I think this book would be more utilized to its potential if you owned a copy and you could actually do the practices or the prompts and everything that's at the end of it and sit with it. I don't really think it is to its merit to read it quickly, which I have. I've read it over the course of 2-3 days. I think it's more like you read that one chapter and you integrate it and you do some of the practices and things and you marinate before moving on to the next. And like I said, it's a lot of like heaviness to absorb at once, just reading about all the atrocities women have faced and still facing today. But that was a Burning Woman. So I think now I'm going to make that pumpkin cheesecake ice cream. And then I'm probably going to start Happy Place. I need a little something lighter, a rom-com, a romance, contemporary, you know, to sort of cleanse the palette of what I've just read, even though, like I said, I think it's excellent to read as a woman. And there are a lot of takeaways from that book that I will teach to my children, to my daughters, and, you know, raise my burning women. So I will touch base with you later on. Okay, so I'm currently reading. I'm not reading Happy Place. I got confused. It wasn't Happy Place that came in. It was Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, which makes more sense because I think I'm quite down the list for Happy Place before it comes in. So this is another contemporary romance. It's based, I think, in a hospital with two doctors. I think they're ER surgeons, something of that vein. I've just started it. So we had the woman's point of view and she's going through a divorce right now and she's vying for a promotion, but a new guy's just come along and she's been told that she will have to run against him when previously the job had been hers. It was in the bag. So she's pretty pissed. That's the dryer guy, sorry. Now we're reading the guy's POV and he seems to have anxiety, but possibly also neurodivergence. He doesn't like very loud, packed places. He gets overstimulated, and I'm like, yes, possibly neurodivergence. But he's going to this place to meet his ex-girlfriend and younger brother. His younger brother is dating his ex-girlfriend of multiple years. I hate that. Like, who does that? Does this happen in real life? Can someone tell me, please? Do you date someone for a few years, break up, and then your ex dates your sibling? Like, who are these siblings that would do that? That's just so gross to me. It's so gross to me. I don't get that. Yeah, so far the writing's fine. It's very easy to read, easy to get into. I'm actually teared up a bit. This guy, the guy's a good guy. The woman, Brianna's brother, is on dialysis and he needs a transplant and no one's a match. And this doctor that just came in, this dude, is like, test me, see if I'm a match. That made me tear up, man. It's like, Jesus, who does that? She just said, that's it, I'm giving up. I should just accept that I'm never having sex again. I'm cancelling my bikini wax appointments. Just gonna let the forest reclaim the land. Succumb to my inner swamp witch. It's cute. This book is so adorable. Both of the characters are amazing. And the guy, Jacob, he's written by a woman. He's the perfect dude. He's the perfect dude. He's the most nicest human being on the planet. And Brianna is also doing her best to, you know, show up for him. And they're just awesome. It's just so freaking cute. So it's got a fake dating trope now, which look, I kind of like the fake dating trope. This is, yeah, this has been really fun. I've smiled so many times. I can't see myself hating this book. So far, it is shaping up to probably be 4.5 stars. I like the writing. I like the characters. They're really relatable and real. And I'm just really enjoying how it's progressing. At one stage, they were writing each other letters. Just so freaking handwritten letters. So cute. Leaving them on each other's lockers. Like, they're adorable. These people are adorable. And he has a 3-legged dog named Lieutenant Dan. It's just so cute. It's put me in a great mood. I swear, Abby Jimenez is just writing the perfect man. She's writing the kind of man we all wished existed, who can basically read your mind, who listens to everything you say and catalogs it and then utilizes it. Oh my God, like, yeah, it's the Taco Bell scene, if you read it. The Taco Bell at work after the conversation. This man. I don't know though, like, I think if you read something like this and then you go out there and expect a human being to be like this, you're going to be sorely disappointed. I don't think there's anyone this perfect. I'm expecting obviously something's going to happen that's going to make him not be the good guy, for them to like have a disagreement, because there's always a disagreement in a romantic book. There's always the part where there's conflict and they separate and then come back together. Right now it's hard to imagine because this guy is just doing it all. He's pulling out all the stops, and yeah, I'm just like, oh, I can't believe he did that. Wow. So they've just swapped phones with each other and he's given her his PIN. He's a very trusting man. And they're looking at each other's search histories, and she's looked at it all and there is nothing sus there. And she said, I would have felt better if his search history was just Andrew Tate quotes and 6 hours a day of Pornhub. And I had to laugh. I think Abby Jimenez is definitely an author I'm going to check out. She's just very relatable. She writes her characters in a very relatable way. You see yourselves in them, well, at least I do. I'm like, I've said that, I've done that, I've thought that. It's just so fun and refreshing. Both characters are good people. Yeah, they've got their flaws, their shadow side, but ultimately they're good people. And like I said, they're very relatable. They just see and think things that, so, and their conflicts are also reasonable. Like, it's believable. The reason for them fake dating is realistic. The reason for their third act conflict, realistic. So I'm really, really enjoying this book. My cat is crawling up my leg. Blue, you're killing me. But I'm at 224 of 350 pages pretty much. So we'll see how it keeps going, but I'm loving it. I'm having such a great time. I'm sorry if it's noisy. Everyone's home and making noise, but I just had to, it's a 5 stars for me. It's a 5-star romance. It's so good. I cried. Oh my God. Jacob. Yeah, Jacob is the perfect person. Brianna is amazing too, but she's going through a lot. She's processing a lot of trauma and acting out of fear and the flight response still. So she did make some choices that, you know, kind of jeopardized the relationship, but Jacob showed up for her. He showed up and he continued to show up. And yeah, it's kind of... Yeah, this was a great book. It's a lovely romance, makes you cry. Like I said, it was believable. The conflicts were believable, knowing the past and the histories of the characters. So it just felt very real, and it was lovely, and I liked being a part of it for a little while. It was nice. Yeah, there was probably more things about it, but oh, so nice. 5 stars, 5 stars. Hello, hello, it is Saturday today. Today's outfit, this is for Love and Lemons, and the jeans are Levi. So I, unfortunately, am following up on that magical 5-star read with some duds. It's the way life is, guys. It's not always up, 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 up. So I'm going to start with a cat story. I'll show you what it looks like. This was meant to be a story about some cats embarking on a grand adventure in Malta that takes them through the art stories of people who came before. The blurb makes it sound like it's going to be uplifting and lovely. This was the most depressing story I have read. These cats are homeless, and pretty much they remain that way. They remain that way. So they go from other cat to other cat, also homeless, also down on their luck, trying to find a happy place. They don't. They don't. It was so bleak. Nothing good happened in this. There were no lessons learned or anything of that nature. It was just really a downer. It was a downer to read. I unhauled this from my children's bookshelves because I'm like, you don't need to read this book. This book is just going to make you really sad. And let's not have any of that. Hey, so I am unhauling this book, unfortunately. This was not a good one. That's what happens sometimes. Yeah, like I said, I buy 12 books a year for my kids, and I thought, you know, this would be a cute one, you know, based on the blurb and the cover. I was wrong. Because also my children are half Maltese, that's their father's nationality, and so I thought it would be great, cats in Malta. So the next book I read was Kindred by Octavia Butler. I'm sorry, my cat's playing with something on the floor. And this has had stellar reviews all around booktube. The premise of the story is interesting. So basically you have a black woman who is married to a white man in the 1970s, and one day she just ends up time traveling back to her great ancestors' times in the 1800s, where the state that they were in, black people were still slaves. They were not free. And it turns out that her great whatever grandfather is a white man. Now, like I said, the premise was interesting, but first of all, that great grandfather is an absolute piece of shit. The worst. He's a rapist, and he's a slave owner, and he's violent, and he's just disgusting. Needless to say that basically he raped her great grandmother, and that is how her line was continued. So she keeps going back because it turns out that every time his life is in danger, starting from when he's a little boy, she gets whipped back to the past to save him, and she only gets returned to the present when her life is endangered. So this book, for me, the writing was just off. The dialogue was really stilted. It just felt so strange and bizarre, especially the conversations and the dialogue between her and her husband. It didn't feel real. And I was like, this feels like it's been written by a bot. That's just the way it was. Like the way the story just kept progressing. It just kept like skimming ahead. There was no like meat and bones to it. There was no setups. It was just very fast paced. And yeah, I felt like I was written by a bot. Now I know that Octavia Butler was renowned in her time. She was one of the first people of color in the sci-fi genre. So that's all amazing. But I just didn't resonate with the writing. It just felt off to me. And like I said, the dialogue was weird. The pacing was strange. And it just felt like so much stuff was missing. And the main character just felt really apathetic. So much stuff was happening. This book is filled with violence, as you can imagine what was happening to the slaves during that time is horrific and atrocities were occurring. For me personally, with the point that I almost DNF'd it was after the third time that she sent back, and violence is perpetuated against her by her own, grandfather, so to speak. I would be at the point where, what, I know that if I take your ass out, I will no longer exist, but so be it. Like, someone needs to remove this stain upon the earth. I'd be like, sorry, my whole line, we're ending it here. Like, I'm not gonna allow this to happen anymore. I would have killed that SOB and been like, farewell, husband, I will never be returning, because I'm not gonna continue to come back here and watch everyone else be mistreated and abused and killed, and also myself. Hell no. Like, I'd be like strapping myself with my guns and shit every time, just on the chance that I'm thrown back there, and I'd be shooting everybody up. I'd be shooting all of the white people, taking out as many of these horrific slave owners as I could before I disappear from existence. I'd try anything I could to liberate whatever people I could liberate at that time, because obviously she was literate, and it's like she could forge passes for the other slaves, which like allows them out, or like she could give them a certificate of freedom. Like, forge it, man. Like, you live in the modern day, go and look up what the certificates of freedom looked like, print it out, take them back with you, and just pass those out like flyers, man, to every slave that you meet. Here's a certificate of freedom, go. Like, I don't know. So this book just left me, the feeling is just really low vibe. I can read about books that have very heavy subject matter, but they have to have characters that I like. They have to be well written. The story has to be fleshed out, has to be poignant. There has to be a lot of stuff for me to be okay with reading about such heavy subject matter. Otherwise, I'm just left feeling depleted and gross and heavy, and that's not the feeling I want to take away from a book. Like I said, I can read books that make me cry, that make me feel things, that make my heart break. But at the end of it, I have to feel like, wow, what a ride, like what an amazing experience. Otherwise, yeah, it's not worth it to me. I don't want to walk away from books feeling, like I said, low vibe and heavy and dense and frustrated and angry. I don't like it, but I persevered with this one because it was Octavia Butler and I'd heard so many good things about it. So I keep getting distracted by my own boobs. I don't know if anyone else is like that, but I see cleavage and my eyes just go. It wasn't for me. If I was going to rate it, I've decided not to. If I was going to rate it, it would be a 2-star book for me. Oh, and this Cat's book would 1 star, but I don't want to rate it. If I don't like middle grade graphic novels, I don't rate them because I'm not the intended audience. But if they're fantastic, I'll give them a 5 stars. So it's a bit weird that way. I'll award the 5 stars out, but if it's less than that, I refrain from passing numerical judgment upon them. Might do some more reading today. I'm just trying to end the vlog on a high note, so I will try. If I can get a book started and finished today, I will vlog it. If not, I'll just abruptly, and no, I'll film an outro no matter what, if I remember. Like, no matter what. Woman, you know that you're not gonna do that. Sorry, my hair's doing this annoying. I just washed it. It's still wet and it's drying. Odd. Oh, you might have noticed that I only film on a Thursday and Saturday pretty much now, and that's because those are the 2 days a week I actually leave my cave and I wash my hair and I put on a cute fit and make myself presentable. So, in the past, from the other vlogs, you would have seen all the other days of the week, I am a cave troll in her pajamas, in her sweats with greasy hair, and I was, watching them and I'm like, I don't really want this encapsulated on the internet in memoriam. Let's just pick the highlight reel. Rather than just watching me in my daily slovenliness. Slovenliness, is that the word? I think so. So today I am going to the shops, the mall, the shopping centre, that's what we call them here in Australia, because I have to get gifts for my children's friends. I don't know about other parents, but it just feels like I'm always bloody buying things for other people's children, just all the time. All the time there's a party, and it's like, here we go again. So we're doing that. The kids always like to go to Starbucks. My eldest likes to get a vanilla frappe, and my youngest just gets their donut cookies. I personally don't like Starbucks. I guess I'm a bit of a coffee snob just because the coffee culture in Melbourne is real strong and we've been raised on some real quality barista shit. So, Starbucks just tastes artificial to me because of the flavorings and that they add to it. So it's just not for me. I did try a lot of them, but I was just like, no. I'm also probably going to go buy some knickers. I need some new underwear. I prefer Brazilian and cheeky cut. That's my favorite type. It's like not full brief, not G-string, like right in the middle. Obviously I've got my full brief cotton knickers for when I want to be comfortable, but if I want something a little bit, you know, sexy, I tend to go for that cut. And I just really like lingerie. I like how it looks on myself and I like how it looks on other women. I have a thing for it. Like Honey Birdette is probably one of my favorite brands. They are so expensive though. I have a few pieces, but I'm always waiting for them to go on sale and they almost never seem to do that. I might have to subscribe to their website because yeah, I love their stuff. I think originally it was like an escorts sort of lingerie brand, but it's stunning. It's stunning, high-end kind of thing. It's like what you'd wear when you're going to sleep with someone for the first time. You know, when you're going to put your garters on, you're going to do all the stops for that first time, and then it's like, here's my cotton knickers. This is the everyday stuff. This is the once in a while treat. Yeah, but besides going to the shopping center, it's just going to be a chill day. I need to rest and recuperate because on Monday, on my day that I don't have my children, naturally it occurs on that day, my youngest is going on an excursion and so I have to go. She won't go on the excursion if I'm not there, and that's an all day thing. And I don't know what how other mothers feel about it, but for me as an introvert, going on school excursions is rough. It is so draining for me to be around all those children and to be responsible for all those children the whole day. It's going to be outside at a zoo, and the weather's not going to be great. So I'm going to do my best to be smiley and happy because I'm the mum, you know, I'm the mum there, and I like to be, you know, a source of happiness for the kids and nurturing, but on the inside I'll be dying. I'll be dying, and the second I come home I'm going to collapse on my floor. I probably won't even make it to the lounge room, but that's what you do for the kids, you know, you make sacrifices, and this is the way I'm contributing. So yeah, I'm trying to keep it real chill this weekend. Today is a new moon in Taurus. For those who are astrologically inclined, it is a badass day for manifesting abundance. I've had it this week. This week, I know that Jupiter transited as well, or whatever the terminology is. I'm a noob, guys. But I have noticed that for my loved ones, they have been having these unexpected good luck things happen, like these mostly to do with jobs and money, unexpected income, unexpected promotions, jobs, just everything's been like really smooth and working out. I know that Mercury retrograde is finally over, maybe that has to do with it too, but all of a sudden just this good luck has been coming into the lives of all my loved ones, and I'm like, me? Is it gonna happen? Because literally the other day my car went into limp mode, which you saw, and it's fixed now. Oh, it's fixed now. So turns out I just needed to replace the battery. I don't know why it went into limp mode instead of just like not starting, but it did. And I wish cars would tell you, hey, your battery is getting low, consider getting a new one. Why is there, like there's a fuel thing that says, hey, fill up with petrol. Why is there not a battery like gauge? Like, hey, your battery's down to like 10% of its charge. Like buy a new one so that I can be prepared. But anyway, that was the great news. Didn't cost me an arm and a leg. My car's working, hallelujah. But I was like, okay, I'm going to do some manifesting today. I'm going to write my intentions. I'm going to plant them in the earth. Basically for me, it's just obviously more abundance, you know, like health. Let's improve the health. Let's get all the conditions that can be put in remission into remission. Let's get some unexpected income coming my way. That's always a treat. Or, you know, have the way that I earn money just increase. I do better at trading, for instance, just got better instincts. I don't know. And new love, because as you know, I am a single lady and I have yet to dip my toe back into the dating pool. But I might see my intentions, then I might give it a go. It's so terrifying though. It's just, look, I had such bad, terrible, horrible experiences the last time I tried online dating, because as you know, my ex-husband was the first boy I ever went on a date with, and I just married him, okay? And we were together for like 16 years. And then I got divorced. And then I was like, how do I meet people? Couldn't meet people in my real world. So I'm like, I'll go online. And it was a year of going on dates, and I was just going on dates with anyone. I gave everybody a shot. You get a shot, and you, and you, and you, and you. And that wasn't probably the best strategy, but there was some real bad dates. Like when I would come home and tell my friends and my mum like what happened, they were like, are you serious, Chanel? I'm like, yeah, man, that's what happened today. So, but look, back then too, I was only still dating men. So this time around, I'm going to be dating men and women. So that hopefully will be a different experience. I'm going to be a bit more particular too who I go on a date with. I'm going to trust my gut a bit more. But it's very hard to tell. That's the problem. It's hard to tell in these apps from pictures and some words, you know. So much of it is in-person energy. Yeah, we'll see how it goes this time around. But I'm sort of gearing up and gathering the courage and the energy, because it requires a lot of energy. Dating requires a lot of energy. And I only have so many spoons, you know? So the choice to actually give those spoons to that, but I feel like I have to go on some dates so I can know, yes, I want to find love, like I do want to be in another partnership, or I might go on these dates and be like, you know what? I think I'd just rather be in my own energy and do my own thing for a while, because I'm really in limbo. I'm like halfway between. I'm actually really enjoying my life right now. Like, honestly, I am enjoying living for myself. I've started doing that more, putting myself first and just doing things that I like. And I'm in this like sort of creativity role where I'm making all of these things and doing all these projects, and I'm enjoying my life. I'm bettering my home. I still have yet to paint my bedroom wall, but I'm renovating. I'm doing all this stuff. So I sort of don't want to slow my roll in that respect. But then if I think about my life in the long term, I do want to be with someone. I love sharing my life with another person and having memories with that person. And if they could be around when my kids were young, so we can reminisce about my kids when they were little together, so they can be a part of those memories. That is kind of like my dream, rather than meeting them when my kids are grown and they don't have any memories of my children when they were young. And it make me a little sad that they're just not part of that life with my kids. My kids probably won't connect and bond with them as much than if they were around while they were children. So because I have kids, I feel like I am a bit more of a sort of deadline to find someone so that they can be here from, you know, the ground up. But yeah, I'm in limbo in between both, like just being independent woman, doing my own thing, focusing on myself, being in that Nine of Pentacles share energy, to, you know, finding someone to build a legacy with and to put roots down with and to grow with and make plans with together and build, you know, a little empire together. So I'm in both worlds. So I'm thinking, yeah, I should just bite the bullet, just go on some bloody dates and then see how did that feel? Did that feel like that's what you should be doing, or did it feel like retreat, go back? We'll see. So I'm going to do the manifesting thing tonight, plant my seeds, and yeah, and then we'll see what the next week brings, how the energy shifts. Speaking of doing things for myself, one of my favorite bands ever, Skin, is coming to Melbourne. So I did something that I've never done, and I bought a ticket just for myself. I have never gone to a concert on my own before. The thought is terrifying, but I'm doing it. I am super bummed though, because all of the general admission had already been sold out. How I'm meant to sit my ass in a seat and not get up and dance when the music's on, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Honestly, I am one of those people that it doesn't matter where I am. This is the only way I embarrass my children. But if there's a bop playing, even in the supermarket, I'm moving my ass to it. Like, I am busting out mama's moves. I have to move when there's music. I have to dance. So I'm just like sort of holding out hope that they'll release a second date and then I can get in and get some GA tickets. Obviously, you could try and get from a scalper, but I don't want to reward that behavior. And I'm terrified of buying a phony ticket. But I would love to be in the general admission. That's my favorite place to be at a concert, because I can get into the music and just let myself go. But yeah, I've got a seat at least. I can be there, but it's just going to be torture. Just sitting and watching when I want to be participating. But yes, I'm so happy though to go see them. They are my favorite band. I saw them on Eurovision. I am a Eurovision stan, and I have to say, this year's Eurovision, Loreen, stunning woman, absolutely gorgeous. Her Euphoria song when she won years and years ago, total bop. This year, I don't think she should have been the one to win. There were quite a lot of great songs. I don't think hers was the ultimate. And I feel like, personally, if you've already won a Eurovision, let somebody else like have a shot. You've had your time, you've had your moment. I'm not really here for like repeat Eurovision winners. I like the Australian song. It really reminded me a lot of this song in the TV show Teen Titans. It's a cartoon show, and the song is called The Night Begins to Shine. It reminds me a lot of that. It's kind of got like that 80s synthwave kind of sound to it, and I thought it was something different for Eurovision anyway. but I love Eurovision. So yeah, we're heading off now to the shopping centre. Lovely place. I love going there. I really don't. I'll touch base with you when we get back. Okay, so we're back home and it was pretty successful. So we got my daughter's friend a book because naturally I have to buy books for everyone's children, and also some fidget toys, so there's something besides books because I know not everyone likes books. So we got that, and I had to get some things for my mother's birthday. So she loves cards, and she loves cards. She loves owls, and so I got her this owl card, and I got these absolutely amazing candles. So these candles are in these beautiful ceramic jars, which I'm going to use as cups. I'm pretty sure I can. They're glazed on the inside by Paddy Wax. So there's soy candles. This one is black fig and rose, and this one is jasmine and bamboo, and they smell so bloody good. So I got her smaller ones. Those ones are for me. I got her smaller cups. My kids also got a book each. And then I got this one. This is another soy wax candle, and it's called Library Ex Libris. This is Mark Twain. It says tobacco, flour and vanilla, and never put off till tomorrow what you can do the day after tomorrow. That's funny, because one of my quotes is never put off tomorrow what I can get done today. I just prefer to do that. If like whatever I can do today to make tomorrow Chanel's life less hectic, I will. So this one, yeah, is tobacco, flour and vanilla. It's very heaty, but I thought it was cute, thought I'd try it out. I also went to the library and I picked up the Neuroscience of Self-Love. So cute cover. I also got the Australian Autism Handbook. Still trying to find good books for myself and my kids. So this Essential Guide to Parenting a Child on the Autism Spectrum. Parenting myself as well, I guess. And this one, the Foxglove King. So I've seen that doing the rounds on BookTube, so I grabbed that as well. So pretty successful day. It's still hectic. It's always hectic when you go to those places. But yeah, I love the little candles I got, and I also had to get some other things for some other people's birthdays. So I thought, let's just get it all done so that we're all done. So now we're home. I'm about to tuck into a yummy tofu bento box and then do some reading.
What happens in this book is King D goes and tries to have a picnic. What happens is he didn't invite Kirby because Kirby ruined his last picnic by eating all the food.
Thanks for letting us know what you bought.
Oh yeah, and this is where you put the bookmark in.
Yep.
And it's fuzzy. As you can see, it's a kangaroo, and it's
$9.99.
$10.
So these were the two things you got today.
Yeah.
Hello, so that's gonna annoy me, finished reading Chaos and Flames. This is a YA fantasy book. In this world there are different houses like House Dragon, House Kraken, House Sphinx, and there's been a war raging, and basically the prince of House Dragon has been painting a girl who is the last of House Sphinx. So in this world too, there are boons. People have these gifts, and the princess one is one to sort of paint the future, a premonitory gift. In this book, you have two POVs. You've got the girl from House Sphinx named Darling, and then you've got the crown prince's brother named Talon. I didn't like Talon or Darling at all. Didn't really care for their characters. Prince Caspian, my favorite character. so chaotic, very Mad Hatter vibes. Loved him, loved his sexual ambiguity as well. So I loved Caspian, didn't care for anybody else. This book has a lot of politics, it's got war, it's got enemies to lovers. They're enemies to lovers because they're on opposing sides of the war, but these two basically straight away were just into each other. And I don't know what was missing, but you just don't buy, there's no chemistry. There is just nothing tangible between them. I didn't connect to the story at all. It just felt very derivative and mediocre and average. I almost DNF'd it, and I only kept going because of Caspian. He was the life of this book. Something does happen at the end that's interesting. It's a bit of a twist. It's not enough for me to want to continue reading the series. So yeah, this just, I don't know why, it just didn't really do anything. It was, like I said, it's a very mediocre fantasy, which is like fine. It's 3 stars. But I want great fantasy. I want stuff that makes me feel. I want characters I connect to. I want insane world building and really greatly, intelligently woven stories. And this just didn't deliver for me in that respect. So I am finishing this reading vlog on a 3-star book. It's okay. I just don't have time to read another book today. But I did have a pretty good week. This month has been overall much better in terms of higher rated books than last month. So already I'm doing pretty good. So it's okay. You know, this one was okay. And I'm glad that I'm wrapping it up on an okay book. Okay. So that's everything for this week. I hope that you have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening. And as always, stay wild, star child.